Welcome to Naturally Inspired Radio, where we expose what's broken in the healthcare system, connect you to real health solutions, and inspire you to take back control of your life. We want to help you feel empowered, informed, and free to live naturally without fear, confusion, or dependency. Download our latest book on real solutions for health at naturallyinspiredradio.com. Naturally Inspired Radio is a nationally syndicated show broadcast on over 100 radio stations, online platforms, video channels, and podcast feeds. Follow us on your favorite platform today, hit that like button, leave a comment, and engage in our special live stream chats, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com to learn more, register for our weekly giveaway, and explore past episodes. You can also connect directly with Tammy, follow her on all major social media platforms, and discover more about our featured guests and trusted radio partners. Are you looking for better health? Work with Tammy today and take the first step toward a healthier, more empowered lifestyle. Schedule your complimentary 30-minute lifestyle assessment to explore personalized guidance on nutrition, movement, toxin-free living, and natural beauty without pharma. Get started now and discover Tammy's preferred health products at naturallyinspiredstore.com or text Tammy directly 720-303-8868. Love the show and want to support the movement? Head over to naturallyinspiredradio.com and click on the support tab. There you'll find all the ways you can get involved. Join our Naturally Inspired community, become a preferred customer, attend one of our amazing live events, get your backstage pass for exclusive access, and connect to all things naturally inspired. Thank you for tuning in today. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Did you know that a single collagen supplement could support your heart health, help protect against EMF exposure, and reduce inflammation all at the same time? Our preferred foundational collagen not only supports radiant skin and joint mobility, but also promotes heart health, reduces inflammation, strengthens hair and nails, provides added protection against the effects of EMF exposure, and so much more. Our favorite collagen is super absorbable and easy to take. Just 1 tablespoon in the morning and another in the evening for maximum benefits. Here's what our listeners have to say.
This collagen is so easy to take, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair and nails after just a few weeks.
Since I started using Tammy's preferred collagen, my joints feel more flexible and my skin looks smoother.
Try it today at naturallyinspiredradio.com/collagen. When you purchase from Naturally Inspired, you get access to our group health coaching call and so much more. Go to naturallyinspiredradio.com/collagen.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com, or for the best mobile experience, download the Simple Radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio, save it to your favorites, and click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, dive into long-form podcast conversations, and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868. naturallyinspiredradio.com.
The information and other content provided on this radio show or in any linked materials is provided for informational purposes only, not intended and should not be construed as medical advice. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.
Welcome, everybody. It is Monday. A new week. I'm so glad you're joining me today. This is Naturally Inspired Radio. Last week, of course, a very heavy week, and I don't know how your weekend went. It was pretty calm around here, and just a lot of thinking, really. The vibration, the frequency is low. It's kind of a I don't know. I can't really describe it. Like I still am struggling to comprehend what happened last week for sure. I had a lot of reflection on it over the weekend, and I have some things that I want to talk about for sure. Because I think I've kind of unpacked a little bit why it feels so unreal that Charlie Kirk was assassinated in front of probably thousands and thousands of people, and then of course millions and millions of people watched it on replay. It's just kind of hard to comprehend, but I'm starting to realize, I think, why I'm having a hard time kind of putting those pieces together. So anyway, we're going to be talking about that at the top of the show. That's kind of my daily topic today, is why I think technology is changing grieving in our culture. And another thought is that, is anyone really going to die in the same context as we have died in the past? It's an interesting thing. Are we living in the age of immortality? I got lots to say about that. So I hope you had a good weekend. It's a beautiful day here in northern Colorado. Sun's out. And it's fairly warm, definitely fall in the air. Lots of the trees are changing color. I hope you've had some time to get outside over the weekend and this morning, put your feet on the earth and connect in this, really dark kind of time here in our country. Lots of things to cover in the news. I want to talk about what HHS Secretary Bobby Kennedy is talking about, because I think this is a very important topic. I think when it comes to health, we can get too focused on things like aesthetic, weight loss, what people look like in terms of health. And it's not just about health and nutrition. It's actually about lifestyle, which I have been talking about for years now. So he's addressing that, and I find that pretty interesting. I've got some information on the CDC for you that, kind of sparked from a clip that I saw on Joe Rogan with Brigham Bueller. This is an ex-pharma guy. So he was on Joe Rogan recently, and I saw this clip about the CDC, and I'm like, I'm going to talk about that today. So we're going to talk a little bit about that clip and the CDC in general. The USDA is not making it easy for small farmers, and this is an issue that we've talked about on Naturally Inspired Radio for a long time, the issue of the lack of processing plants. So this is a good story covered in a small little news outlet that I want to bring to your attention. Our health topic today is liver health, and then, of course, we have 5 strategies for grief for our naturally inspired moment. So lots of wonderful things that we're going to be covering today. So you want to stay tuned for the whole show. Let's get into the top topic here about why I think technology is changing grieving. I was listening to a lot of different things over the weekend and just processing on my own. Went back to some old materials that I learned about a long time ago. And it's really such an interesting time that we're living in, because this isn't like, I feel like old people said, oh, those crazy young people. When our grandparents, even when our parents started getting a little bit older, especially our grandparents, I feel like they would say things like, oh, these young people are crazy today. Because they were like reflecting on the change in culture, and it felt so out of the box to them. And I think there's a little bit of that going on with Gen X for sure, with myself for sure. But I don't think we have ever faced this dramatic of change when it comes to humanity in general. And of course, I'm talking about artificial intelligence. Of course, I'm talking about the biotechnology phase of the world the world is moving toward this merger between machine and man. And just the fact that we're living through these portals now and the blur between virtual and reality is sometimes undetectable. And what that's doing to us, because, I think we're living it, but very few people are actually coming outside of it to discuss it. And I think that we need to be discussing it, because here's the train coming down the track, woo, woo, like it is coming fast. And we're not discussing the consequences to this digital revolution, the biological revolution. It's hitting everything. It's hitting everything, including grief. And I'm really noticing that with Charlie Kirk's death, because what I found out is he has, thousands of hours of content online. So this was a good contrast. I heard somebody say, could have more of an impact on our culture, Charlie Kirk, than MLK. I'm not comparing the two. Okay. I'm not comparing the two in their missions or whatever. But I will say that just content-wise, Charlie Kirk has way more exposure than MLK ever could have possibly have had, because of social media, because of the rapid fire pace of information that gets pushed out in reels, like on Instagram or on TikTok. So the speed of the information is faster. The quantity of the information is more. And the fact that the footage from Charlie Kirk's assassination went viral immediately, which imprinted on so many people's brains, the impact is massive. I think bigger than MLK. Just because of those variables, because of the amount of information that he has out there, how accessible it is, and then, of course, the gruesomeness of his death. And so here's why I think it's impacting grief. I mean, for myself, I've been saying this over and over again, and I think it's starting to sink in today that he was assassinated in front of us all. But I think the reason why it's taken more time for me to feel like, oh my gosh, this is actually real, is because he's living online in virtual reality. And everyone is watching his clips. And so they're all throughout the algorithm right now. And so you can pull up Charlie Kirk right now, probably just by going into your X account or onto your Instagram. It will be fed to you. And so this is like, there's a disconnect in the brain, because we're watching poignant clips that are days old, really, 2 weeks old, a week old, from right before he died. And so they're very relevant. They're very, addressing today's issues. And we're able to watch many of them on repeat. And so I think my brain is going, you're watching him on your phone. And then you're having this disconnect between what you're watching on your phone and the fact that he's actually dead in reality. I think that has a ripple effect in the grieving process. Even if you didn't know him, a public figure, many people are expressing they're having a hard time believing that this has happened, and they're rattled by it, impacted by somebody's death they don't even know. Stay tuned. This is Naturally Inspired Radio. We'll be right back.
Did you know that a single collagen supplement could support your heart health, help protect... Did you know that a single collagen supplement could support your heart health, help protect against EMF exposure, and reduce inflammation all at the same time? Our preferred foundational collagen not only supports radiant skin and joint mobility, but also promotes heart health, reduces inflammation, strengthens hair and nails, provides added protection against the effects of EMF exposure, and so much more. Our favorite collagen is super absorbable and easy to take. Just 1 tablespoon in the morning and another in the evening for maximum benefits. Here's what our listeners have to say.
This collagen is so easy to take, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair and nails after just a few weeks.
Since I started using Tammy's preferred collagen, my joints feel more flexible and my skin looks smoother.
Try it today at naturallyinspiredradio.com/collagen. When you purchase from Naturally Inspired, you get access to our group health coaching call and so much more. Go to naturallyinspiredradio.com/collagen.
A little bit of technical difficulties here today. I apologize. It seems like our restream is acting kind of funky. Hopefully we got it worked out though. I think we have our clips loaded now. Jason, if you want to just give me a message there in the chat so I know when we're ready to go with our clips. I want to remind you, you can find us on all of the social media platforms. You can find us on Rumble. You can find us on BitChute. You can find us on Odyssey, all the main platforms. And when you find us, I have an ask of you. If you would follow us, share the show with a friend. That is the best way that we can spread the message. Ultimately, you know, Naturally Inspired is all about changing health culture in the country. That's what we want to do. We shape culture. That's what's going to happen. And we do that one by one. By you sharing the show with somebody, telling somebody, you know, what you heard on the show or what have you, them plugging in and them getting connected to real solutions for health. It's truly grassroots here at Naturally Inspired. So we're so grateful that you do that for us. Let's see, load them. Okay. See, do we have them? Do we have our clips or do we need to wait till the next break? Just give me a yes or no in the chat there, Jason, so I can understand where I need to go here. Because I do want to talk about technology today, and I want to talk about this changing way of grieving. Lots of judgment out there around the Charlie Kirk death, how people are handling it, how people are commenting on it. Some people have it's really interesting because it was another mass trauma event. It was, a really, pretty sweet, docile, nonviolent type of guy who had a very strong faith, who was killed in a very public way. And, if you had a heart and you weren't completely captured by the algorithm and by the cult, you were rattled by this assassination. And so many people expressed that. So I just want to share with you, this is a clip of Charlie Kirk talking about his value system when it comes to debate and when it comes to really trying to bring solutions to American culture. Here it is. Check it out.
I got a question.
Sure. What was your name again? I'm sorry.
I don't think I told you. My name's Mercury.
Nice to meet you.
Why are you here?
Okay, I've been asked that question a lot. First of all, that question should not even have to be asked, but when people stop talking, really bad stuff starts. When marriages stop talking, divorce happens. When civilizations stop talking, civil war ensues. When you stop having a human connection with someone you disagree with, it becomes a lot easier to want to commit violence against that group. What we as a culture have to get back to is being able to have reasonable disagreement where violence is not an option.
You think that's not emotional violence?
How is this? What is emotional violence, by the way? I don't know what that is.
It is harm intentionally perpetrated on another human being that is intentionally targeted at their emotional well-being.
Okay, so feelings mean nothing to me. Isn't why we had the First Amendment to try to push our boundaries and to hear things that might make you mildly uncomfortable?
This doesn't make me mildly uncomfortable.
Does it make you very uncomfortable?
It makes me angry.
This is why I say, you guys, all the time that we have to have, a foundation of beliefs and values that we can all operate off of. Every society can withstand some fringe population, right? Where they're off on the outskirts and, they live in a different way. And every society has them. And every society in history has been able to withstand that to a certain point. And when that fringe starts, encroaching on the foundation of the many, right, of the most population, the biggest portion of the population that is living in a foundational way that holds society together, that's where we start to come apart at the seams. And one of those signs that we are dangerously close to that and have been, I like to think we're backing away from it, is when this fringe population started hijacking our vocabulary. Emotional violence. Yeah, that's not a thing. Emotional violence, right? You see how they coupled these words together to change their meaning? It's kind of like toxic masculinity. Those two words they've hooked together, which is, very purposeful. And one changes the meaning of the other. And that's become the type of vocabulary that we hear from these people. So I love how Charlie says, wait a minute. Emotional violence. No. We can't operate in reality off of virtual language. It's not real. It's not real. And that's where we kind of are having this major crossroads is we have the globalists, we have the cult trying to drag everybody over into the virtual world, including using virtual language. And then we have people like you, like me, who are trying to root everybody in reality. Like, yeah, that's a nice idea. But no, I understand you feel like your feelings are being, are being hurt. I understand that feels bad to you, but it is not violence. It's just not. And now more than ever, we really have to work at this. We really have to work at reclaiming our language. No, your feelings are hurt. I understand that. Emotionally, you feel upset. I understand that. But it is not violence. It just isn't. Because the whole world gets kind of topsy-turvy when you start mixing up vocabulary and then attaching legislation to it beyond that. I mean, that's a whole nother discussion to reinforce those unreal ideas. Because that's what they are. They're unreal. So that's where I think, just pointing out his common sense here. And the fact that he wasn't, committing violence is very important. He was actually advocating against it and very actively advocating against it. We are in a war for sure. It's a spiritual war because we are up against holding on to what is real. I have a couple of clips I want to share with you just to show you the magnitude of the warfare that we're in. What is life if life is not real? If it's all concocted out of ideas and digital imagery? We got to have a conversation about this. And that's what really is kind of stunning, to think that we're headed down the tracks to this huge digital revolution, the biotechnology revolution, all these massive changes. They're going to change our culture, and they're going to change humanity forever. And nobody's having a discussion about it. In very isolated places, right? Very compartmentalized places, they're having a discussion about it. But it certainly isn't in the mainstream. I don't hear it being discussed in the mainstream. And if we're going to adapt this new way of life, don't you think there should be a discussion about it? Because I do. Let's quickly go to this clip before the break. This is Ray Kurzweil introducing one of his AI perceptions. Here it is.
And when we get to the 2030s, nanobots will connect our brains to the cloud, just the way your phone does. It'll expand intelligence 1 million-fold by 2045. That is the singularity. We will be funnier, sexier, smarter, more creative, free from biological limitations. We'll be able to choose our appearance. We'll be able to do things we can't do today, like visualize objects in 11 dimensions. We can speak all languages. We'll be able to expand consciousness in ways we can barely imagine. We will experience richer culture with our extra years. So I've recently become a grandfather. I'm very much looking forward to that.
Stay tuned, everybody. We'll unpack that when we come back.
Are achy joints holding you back? Are you tired of stiffness slowing you down? It's time to restore with Joint Restore Gummies from Prosper CBD. These delicious strawberry-flavored gummies aren't just tasty. They're designed to soothe joint discomfort, promote flexibility, and help you move freely again. No more messy creams or bitter pills. Just one gummy a day to get you back to doing what you love. Best of all, no prescription needed.
My husband was headed towards knee surgery, and I was having hip pain. A friend recommended these. We tried them and they worked great. We noticed a difference right away.
Right now, Prosper Wellness is offering a special deal, so don't wait. Go to jointrestore1.com. That's jointrestore1.com. Grab your Joint Restore gummies today. Be sure to use the promo code TAMMY, TAMMY, for 20% off your order.
Did you know 80% of beef consumed in the U.S. comes from 4 major corporations, much of it being imported or processed with additives? Want real beef from a real farm? Pumpkin Creek Ranch does things the right way. Local, grass-fed, dry-aged beef with no additives, no shortcuts, just honest quality.
Pumpkin Creek Ranch beef is the real deal. I love knowing exactly where my meat comes from. No additives, no nonsense, just honest quality beef.
Best beef I've ever had. You can taste the difference. Rich, tender, and packed with real flavor. Plus, supporting a local ranch makes it even better.
From pasture to plate, they raise their cattle with care, so you can get rich, natural flavor that only real ranching can provide. Stock your freezer with premium beef you can trust. Visit pumpkincreekranchco.com or call 970-658-0176.
Did you know that detoxing daily can help remove up to 70% of the toxins in your body? Let me share 3 real stories about how Greska's C60 has helped people feel their best every day. John from Denver, Colorado says,
I've always struggled with seasonal allergies, but since I started taking Greska C60 every day, my symptoms have significantly improved. I don't feel congested or tired all the time. It's been an amazing daily detox for my body, and I feel so much more energized.
Emily from Portland, Oregon says,
As an athlete, I was looking for a way to keep my body clean and detoxed. Greska C60 has been a great addition to my routine. I feel less bloated and I feel more clear-headed. Plus, it's helped me with occasional muscle stiffness and aches after intense workouts.
Visit c60.com or call 720-600-6040 today to start your own journey. Use promo code TAMMY at checkout for a special discount.
I didn't realize the way I was thinking about being unwell was actually keeping me unwell. Tammy showed me how to break that loop and reframe my thoughts. Everything changed from that moment on. That's what I do. I just lead people to the information that they need to get better results with their health. And those are the types of things that people in our community say about working in the naturally inspired community. So if you'd like to get into the community, and Jason has just done a fantastic job at revamping our back office as well. Not only do you get access to the weekly wellness calls back there, but there are tons of resources on nutrition and articles and all kinds of things. So, I mean, it's so much value. It's so much value for just being a part of the naturally inspired community, because we know when you get connected to the real solutions for health, there is no going back. Right? There's no going back. So visit naturallyinspiredstore.com today. Book your 30-minute free assessment with me. Get on the right track. Get into the naturally inspired community. We are so glad that so many of you are here already, and we welcome everybody to Real Solutions for Health. Let's go back to Ray Kurzweil here. I feel cheated. Because I feel like these decisions about artificial intelligence, I feel like these decisions about how we are going to be living in the future have been made for me. And, people can say, oh, well, you don't have to participate in it. I don't think there'll be any competing with artificial intelligence. Can you get through the airport without compliance these days? You can't, can you? We saw a little peak of that during COVID, where you couldn't go into restaurants without your compliance. You couldn't go into grocery stores without your compliance. You couldn't go many places without compliance. And I don't think they're asking. And I think that's very purposeful. This transformation into technology at a level that I'm pretty sure most people don't comprehend. Here, in that clip that we just played with Ray Kurzweil, he's talking about solving things in health, solving things in society that I don't think could ever have been comprehended that were coming down the pipeline. Things like solving sleep, things like solving death, things like, never having to grieve again because you can virtually create the person that has died. And Ray has done that. Ray has built himself a model of his own father where he has programmed it with all of his father's information. I don't even know, I don't know how you would do that because people are nuanced. But a version, I guess what it is a version. Think this through. It is his perception of his dad that he has programmed into a bot, and he interacts with that and calls it his father. So it's such a weird time because, the 5 stages of grief that are set is we acknowledge that people go through when somebody dies. The first one is denial. And the way technology comes into play here is it continuously gives you and programs your brain that there's digital proof of life. So traditionally, denial was not wanting to face that someone is gone. Now technology has shifted that, where social media profiles, old texts and whatnot, the digital presence stays alive forever. And people revisit that to feel the person still exists. So this is a catch-22. Of course, it brings comfort to people, I'm sure, but it also can prolong the process of denial. And I think that's what is happening to many of us. We're kind of stuck in this first phase of denial because the brain saw what it saw at the time of his assassination, Charlie Kirk's assassination, but yet we're waking up every morning and throughout the day, we're seeing proof of life. It's like the brain, that's a challenge for the brain to reconcile. Whether you think, in your conscious mind, oh, no, it's not. I know I saw that. But in your subconscious mind, it's very difficult for the brain to reconcile that. The second stage of grief is anger and online outrage and expression. Those are spaces that are constantly going on. And so just when you feel like you are, in an angry spot or whatever, or maybe you're starting to calm down, there's this portal that you go to all the time where someone is sounding off yet again. And that re-triggers anger. So it's almost like we're stuck on a loop. And it's keeps people online, of course, which services the tech companies, which is the whole purpose of a lot of these social media companies, is to keep, of course, capturing your time, because that's their currency. Your time is their currency. So it could be very unhealthy, this new grieving process with the insertion of technology into it. And of course, there's a lot of judgment around, and I had a thought about this because I saw Erica Kirk had posted a video of her, casket side with Charlie. And a lot of people had things to say about that. I'm not going to judge that at all. I'm only going to say that these are young people. Charlie and his wife, they are young people. You know, they're of a different age than, say, Gen X or beyond. And their life has become, you know, very intertwined into the virtual world. This is how Charlie built Turning Point. This is how they created this movement, was through the virtual lens. And so it didn't surprise me that she would post such an intimate video, because that's kind of the new way of life for many people. They haven't lived without that for so long that I think it's just part of it, which is, you know, it's definitely different from maybe what you or I would feel comfortable with. But this is a sign of this new technological world that we live in. Love it or not, you know, it is what it is, because this is where we are. This is where we have allowed technology to take us without discussion. It gets even more intense here, you know, with Ray Kurzweil talking about what's to come in the future. And I just have to point out too, that a lot of these AI type of people are already living in some sort of character. And you can see that here with Ray Kurzweil in his outfit. Be who you want to be, you know, but it's very theatrical. And again, it blurs the line, right, between reality and, I guess, a world stage and virtual reality. Take a listen to this.
It's called longevity escape velocity. Let me say that again, because you're going to be hearing a lot about that. Longevity escape velocity. Right now you go through a year and you use up a year of your longevity. However, scientific progress is also progressing, which is actually bringing us back. It's giving us cures for diseases, new forms of treatments. So right now you're getting back about 4 months. So you lose a year, you get back 4 months, so you're losing 8 months. However, the scientific progress is on an exponential. It's going to get faster and faster. And as we get to the early 2030s, let's say between 2029 and 2035, depending on how diligent you are, you're going to get back a full year. So you lose a year, you get back a year. As we actually go past that point, you'll actually get back more than a year, and you'll go backwards in time, which will be cool. Now, some people are concerned we're going to run out of resources. And actually, if we just went ahead and didn't make any new resources, we would run out of resources, like energy, for example. But it's not happening in a vacuum. AI is revolutionizing everything.
This is a kind of off the main topic observation here, but did you notice how he has a piece of tape here on his shirt? He's got like a piece of double-sided tape, and I think that was placed there to hold the suspenders in place. Now, if the suspenders were actually, you know, serving a function, then of course you wouldn't need tape to kind of hold them in place, which just further kind of, you know, shows what I'm trying to say here. This is a character that he's playing. You know, there's a character element to this. And to these people that are so compartmentalized on controlling life, on controlling artificial intelligence, life is math. To them, it's just math, you know. You live a year, you give up a year, and right now with the modern technology, you get 4 months back. So your year is only really 8 months, but we're going to get to a point where technology will actually propel you into extended life. So when you live a year, you'll actually gain 4 months, 5 months. So, like, it's just math to them. And of course, you and I know life isn't just math. Life is very nuanced. And these people do not account for that. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back.
Did you know that a single collagen supplement could support your heart health, help protect against EMF exposure, and reduce inflammation all at the same time? Our preferred foundational collagen not only supports radiant skin and joint mobility, but also promotes heart health, reduces inflammation, strengthens hair and nails, provides added protection against the effects of EMF exposure, and so much more. Our favorite collagen is super absorbable and easy to take. Just 1 tablespoon in the morning and another in the evening for maximum benefits. Here's what our listeners have to say.
This collagen is so easy to take, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair and nails after just a few weeks.
Since I started using Tammy's preferred collagen, my joints feel more flexible and my skin looks smoother.
Try it today at naturalinspiredradio.com/collagen. When you purchase from Naturally Inspired, you get access to our group health coaching call and so much more. Go to naturalinspiredradio.com/collagen. Did you know that medicinal mushrooms are excellent for pets? Take our preferred pet health products for joint health, skin health, antioxidant protection, cell health, anti-aging benefits, gut health, liver support, cholesterol regulation, blood pressure support, brain health, anxiety relief, respiratory health, endurance and strength, anti-fatigue, and much more. Available in easy-to-take treats, great-tasting gravy, and our pet food blends.
Since adding mushroom dog food to my dog's diet, I've noticed a huge improvement in his energy and coat health. He's like a puppy again, even at 10 years old.
After starting my care on mushroom super sauce, her immune health and digestion have noticeably improved. She's more playful, and her fur has never looked shinier.
Learn how to get free shipping and how to join our monthly mushroom call. Text Tammy with questions or to order at 720-303-8868. Visit naturalinspiredradio.com/mushroom. That's naturalinspiredradio.com/mushroom.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturalinspiredradio.com, or for the best mobile experience, download the Simple Radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio, save it to your favorites, and click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, dive into long-form podcast conversations, and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868. naturalinspiredradio.com.
You want to try our cellular reset. After 3 weeks on the cellular reset, I noticed my mid-afternoon slump was gone. I have steady energy all the time, and my brain feels sharper, like I'm thinking faster without the fog. That is from Bethany, and that is because the cellular reset is a potent polyphenol that really combats inflammation. It's worked wonderful for so many different things. You can get yours today at naturalinspiredstore.com and click on the cellular reset. Get yours ordered. You can join us on tomorrow night on the weekly wellness workshop. You're not going to want to miss it. We talk about such valuable stuff on there. I mean, really, if you are ready to get your health in order, this is the way. You know, it's just such a wonderful model to get your health in order because it gives you support without building, dependence. It's like, it's not the same model anymore. I think most people have woken up to the allopathic model and they understand that's not working for you, that you really do have to take agency over your health. But you need support, you need community, you need, to be able to bounce ideas off of people. And that's where I think Naturally Inspired comes in and just really shines. People are supported, but they're also learning independence around their own health choices, which is fantastic. So go over there today, naturallyinspiredstore.com, become a customer, and we welcome you into the Naturally Inspired community. Let's move to our Naturally Inspired moment for the day. Today, I want to talk about 5 strategies for dealing with grief. There are what they say are 5 different points of stages of grief. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross had a model where she talks about denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and then finally acceptance. And I think technology has wove its way in, and I don't know what this model, how we're going to navigate this model in a healthy way with technology intertwined in here. And that's the discussion I think that needs to happen. Like, I hate to get too philosophical on you here, but what is life when we continue to project fake life after life has ended? You see what I'm saying here? Like, we're in a really bizarre space. And I think it needs to be acknowledged and talked about so that we can help people recognize the signs of grief and how to deal with it. Number 1, okay, grief is a universal experience. Well, it used to be. Now I don't know. That's something that we're going to have to discuss. Are we going to allow people to live in, virtual reality where they never have to accept grief or go through grief? For right now, it's mostly a universal experience. So whether it's the loss of a loved one, a relationship, or even a chapter of life we thought would last forever, it doesn't follow a neat timeline, and it can feel overwhelming. Yet in the hardest moments, there are ways to honor pain and slowly rediscover light and transform. You never get over a death of a loved one. You transform into who you are now after having lost a loved one. So first strategy, allow yourself to feel fully. So don't suppress emotions. Grief is not something to suppress. So let your tears out, let your anger out, let your sadness out. And, even laughter, they all have their place along your healing phases of grief. Giving yourself permission to feel prevents emotions from bottling up and turning into longer-term health struggles. Yeah, that is for sure. I remember when my mom passed away, I had 2 small kids, and it was a very, challenging time having to, spend those weeks with my mother at the end of her life, and then coming back home and just like having to pick up and carry on. There was a real disconnect from what had happened at home, with my mom's death, and then, my new home, right? It was like this weird, one day I was there, and then one day I was back home, and nobody, in this space had been there to witness my mom's death. So it was a very weird thing. And I definitely struggled with it in the beginning, and especially with being able to express my sadness, because I was kind of in my own little space with it. Nobody else had witnessed what I had witnessed. So allow yourself the space for tears, anger, sadness, laughter, all of that stuff. Lean into support, whether it comes from close friends or faith communities or professional counseling. Connection helps remind you that you don't walk this road alone. Sometimes the most healing words are simply, I'm here with you. I'm here to listen. You know, you may find yourself repeating the same stories over and over again, and that's okay. You know, often I say, write it all out. And if you don't have somebody to speak it to, you can at least reread it and reread it and reread it until you get to a space where you're done reading it. You're done telling the story. And then that's progression in the grief process. Number 3, broaden your scope of experiences. So grief can really narrow your focus to only what you've lost. And so by making yourself step out into new experiences, pick up some volunteering stuff, travel, get a new skill, you can gently expand your perspective. And like I said, it's like a transformation process. You're never going to restore the person you were when your loved one was alive and well. You can't restore that person. You're actually not that same person anymore because you've been through this different event. And so you transform into this new version of yourself. And I think that happens a lot in life and we don't recognize it, on smaller, less impactful experiences. Even when you lose a career and you have to, transform into a new career, that's a transformation process that you have to go through to now be this person. And it's also kind of like a grieving process. Sometimes it's like, yeah, good riddance. Like, I'm so glad I'm past that. But it never stays the same, I guess is what I'm trying to say. You don't go back to that person who had the different career ever. You have new insights now. You have new skill set. And so you have to allow it to integrate into this new version of yourself. Rediscover purpose. Loss often shakes our sense of direction. Finding purpose, whether small or large, some small things for like taking care of your health every day, right? That's one. Or if you're stepping out and mentoring others, channels energy of grief into something meaningful. Purpose can turn sorrow into service. Number 5, create rituals of remembrance. Honoring what or who you've lost creates a bridge between memory and healing. Things like journaling, planting a tree, sharing stories. Grief is not about getting over it, but learning to carry it differently. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com, or for the best mobile experience, download the Simple Radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio, save it to your favorites, and click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, dive into long-form podcast conversations, and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868. naturallyinspiredradio.com.
Nearly 40% of Americans struggle with a $400 emergency expense. An extra $300 a month can be the difference between stability and financial stress.
Are you feeling the pinch of rising expenses? Imagine what an extra $300, $500, or even $1,000 a month can do for you. Introducing a simple 3-step system designed to help you create a steady income without the overwhelm. Step 1, follow our easy-to-use plan. Step 2, take small, consistent actions. Step 3, stay motivated with weekly coaching designed to keep you on track and moving forward. Whether you're saving for a family vacation, paying down debt, or just looking for breathing room, this system is for you. You don't need special skills, just the desire to make change. Join a growing community of success stories today. Visit simpleincome.info or text 720-764-7448.
Welcome to Naturally Inspired Radio, where we expose what's broken in the healthcare system, connect you to real health solutions, and inspire you to take back control of your life. We want to help you feel empowered, informed, and free to live naturally without fear, confusion, or dependency. Download our latest book on real solutions for health at naturallyinspiredradio.com. Naturally Inspired Radio is a nationally syndicated show broadcast on over 100 radio stations, online platforms, video channels, and podcast feeds. Follow us on your favorite platform today, hit that like button, leave a comment, and engage in our special live stream chats, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com to learn more, register for our weekly giveaway, and explore past episodes. You can also connect directly with Tammy, follow her on all major social media platforms, and discover more about our featured guests and trusted radio partners. Are you looking for better health? Work with Tammy today and take the first step toward a healthier, more empowered lifestyle. Schedule your complimentary 30-minute lifestyle assessment to explore personalized guidance on nutrition, movement, toxin-free living, and natural beauty without pharma. Get started now and discover Tammy's preferred health products at naturallyinspiredstore.com or text Tammy directly 720-303-8868. Love the show and want to support the movement? Head over to naturallyinspiredradio.com and click on the support tab. There you'll find all the ways you can get involved. Join our Naturally Inspired community, become a preferred customer, attend one of our amazing live events, get your backstage pass for exclusive access, and connect to all things naturally inspired. Thank you for tuning in today. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Did you know that a single collagen supplement could support your heart health, help protect against EMF exposure, and reduce inflammation all at the same time? Our preferred foundational collagen not only supports radiant skin and joint mobility, but also promotes heart health, reduces inflammation, strengthens hair and nails, provides added protection against the effects of EMF exposure, and so much more. Our favorite collagen is super absorbable and easy to take. Just 1 tablespoon in the morning and another in the evening for maximum benefits. Here's what our listeners have to say.
This collagen is so easy to take, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair and nails after just a few weeks.
Since I started using Tammy's preferred collagen, my joints feel more flexible and my skin looks smoother.
Try it today at naturallyinspiredradio.com/collagen. When you purchase from Naturally Inspired, you get access to our group health coaching call and so much more. Go to naturallyinspiredradio.com/collagen.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com, or for the best mobile experience, download the simple radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio, save it to your favorites, and click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, dive into long-form podcast conversations, and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868. naturallyinspiredradio.com.
The information and other content provided on this radio show or in any linked materials is provided for informational purposes only, not intended and should not be construed as medical advice. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.
Welcome back to hour 2 of Naturally Inspired Radio. We got a little funky going on here today with the restream, a little glitchy, but hopefully it'll smooth itself out. It usually does. Here and there, there's a few glitches from time to time, but it always seems to find its way, so just bear with us a little bit. In the first hour today of Naturally Inspired Radio, we've been talking about technology and grief and, just the technology has impacted our lifestyle and our culture, all of society. And there's so many different ways that I didn't even think about really until we're getting to this kind of turning point, right? It really truly is a turning point into this digital revolution, into the Great Reset, into the merger of man and machine. And there's a lot of people, in the race, very powerful people. It's very much an elitist game, this AI race. And they're just kind of keeping everybody out of it, just shh, don't say anything, right? Let's just get to the finish line, and then we'll kind of do something, when we're there, maybe. That's what it feels like to me. Like some of the powers, that could be accessed to regulate this thing are purposefully being, kept in the dark about a lot of things. Because they just don't want to deal with regulation, because regulation will slow it down. And then, of course, there's this narrative of, we've got to beat China. And is that really it? Is it really about China? Or is it about making sure it's implemented so you can't really walk it back once it's implemented? And I was just noticing, given this last crazy week, how much technology is impacting grief, how it impacts behavior. I think people are spending more time in denial than they would have maybe before technology exists, because we have this ability to access content of whoever at just like right in our hands. Think about it. When we were kids, if we wanted to look at photo albums, we had to go and dig them out and, sit on the floor and look through them. And that was always fun, but it was a limited amount of time that you could do it. And you had to go. Now, while you're waiting for, pumping gas, you can be going down memory lane through your photo album or through someone's content on their social media account. So I don't know, I don't know what that does to the grieving process, but I am certain it's altering it, right? It's altering our experience through grief. And I don't know that it's healthy. I really don't. I wanted to bring this clip to your attention last week. And I think we were, last week was crazy with the show because I just felt like, this shock, and you can't not talk about Charlie Kirk, but yet I don't even know what to say about it because I'm still in shock myself. I noticed a lot of people like Megyn Kelly and people that were, wanting to go live to talk about it. They really just were, telling stories and just like trying to wrap their brains around it. And so that, that was kind of nice to see because I felt in the same boat. Like I wanted to discuss it, but man, what do you say? And this week now I want to try to help to bring you solutions, of course, because awareness is everything, right? Once you're aware, like, oh my gosh, because like at the end of last week, I'm like, man, it still doesn't feel real to me. Why does this not feel real to me? And then I realized it doesn't feel real because my brain is watching very relevant content that Charlie has put out over, just days ago. And it's that denial process, right? Because there's proof of life in the digital realm. And that is exactly what people like Ray Kurzweil and Sam Altman, I mean, they want, oh my gosh, you guys, this podcast with Sam Altman and Tucker Carlson, it really gives you some insight as to who Sam Altman is. Not only that, but realizing that how much power he has in the position that he is in with ChatGPT and beyond. This particular clip I'm playing for you because I want you to understand it is such an elitist game, this artificial intelligence, and we truly are the peasants in this scenario where we're just going to have to cope with the innovation of AI. And this gives you some insight into who is controlling this. Sam Altman with Tucker Carlson. Here it is.
One programmer who said you guys are basically stealing people's stuff and not paying them, and then he wound up murdered. What was that?
Also a great tragedy. He committed suicide.
Do you think he committed suicide?
I really do.
Have you looked?
This was like a friend of mine. This is like a guy that, and not a close friend, but this is someone that worked at OpenAI for a very long time. I was really shaken by this tragedy. I spent a lot of time trying to, read everything I could, as I'm sure you and others did too, about what happened. It looks like a suicide to me.
Why does it look like a suicide?
It was a gun he had purchased. It was this is like gruesome to talk about, but I read the whole medical record. Does it not look like one to you?
No, he was definitely murdered, I think. There were signs of a struggle, of course. The surveillance camera, the wires had been cut. He had just ordered takeout food, come back from a vacation with his friends on Catalina Island. No indication at all that he was suicidal, no note, and no behavior. He had just spoken to a family member on the phone. And then he's found dead with blood in multiple rooms. So that's impossible. Seems really obvious he was murdered. Have you talked to the authorities about it?
I have not talked to the authorities about it.
And his mother claims he was murdered on your orders.
Do you believe that?
I'm asking.
You just said it. So do you believe that?
I think that it is worth looking into. And if a guy comes out and accuses your company of committing crimes, I have no idea if that's true or not, of course, and then is found killed and there are signs of a struggle, I don't think it's worth dismissing it. I don't think we should say, well, he killed himself when there's no evidence that the guy was depressed at all. I think, and if he was your friend, I would think you would want to speak to his mom or...
I did offer. She didn't want to.
Well, I don't want to speculate. But, in this podcast, Tucker asks Sam point blank, do you believe in God? Or you have so much power, as, he admits that he's basically the point person on what and how ChatGPT is being programmed. If you want to put a face to it, he said, I guess that face is me. And so you got to wonder, I don't think any one person would be qualified to program something like ChatGPT, artificial intelligence, that is having and responding to very intimate conversations, including, as he admits, suicide conversations, where chat will give people solutions when it comes to them wanting to end their lives. I think this is why Sam Altman is really pushing towards it's not patient, it's user. So in a lawyer situation, in a doctor situation, there's, a patient confidentiality, there's a client confidentiality type of agreements. And he's pushing for that with ChatGPT. Now, you would think, oh, well, that's kind of a good thing because, then the government can't subpoena that information. But you got to look at it through the lens of Sam as well, because if that's the case, then there's less liability for him. And trust me, I'm not advocating for the government to be able to have access to the conversations that we have on ChatGPT, but this would serve as a buffer of liability protection for Sam Altman and ChatGPT. A couple of things to recognize here. So he admits, he doesn't really have a faith, that he believes in something, I think is what it is. Of course, Sam's a gay man, that's take whatever you want out of that. But we do know that society can't continue if everybody's gay. It just can't, right? Not the way we know it anyway, right? We can, do some kind of synthetic form of reproduction, I guess. But again, these are conversations that are not being had. And again, the fringe, right? We can operate with so many people on the fringe, but we can't operate with everybody on the fringe. Life doesn't work that way. Stay tuned. You're listening to Naturally Inspired Radio, and we'll be right back.
Did you know that a single collagen supplement could support your heart health, help protect against EMF exposure, and reduce inflammation all at the same time? Our preferred foundational collagen not only supports radiant skin and joint mobility, but also promotes heart health, reduces inflammation, strengthens hair and nails, provides added protection against the effects of EMF exposure, and so much more. Our favorite collagen is super absorbable and easy to take. Just 1 tablespoon in the morning and another in the evening for maximum benefits. Here's what our listeners have to say.
This collagen is so easy to take, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair and nails after just a few weeks.
Since I started using Tammy's preferred collagen, my joints feel more flexible and my skin looks smoother.
Try it today at naturallyinspiredradio.com/collagen. When you purchase from Naturally Inspired, you get access to our group health coaching call and so much more. Go to naturallyinspiredradio.com/collagen. Did you know that medicinal mushrooms are excellent for pets? Take our preferred pet health products for joint health, skin health, antioxidant protection, cell health, anti-aging benefits, gut health, liver support, cholesterol regulation, blood pressure support, brain health, anxiety relief, respiratory health, endurance and strength, anti-fatigue, and much more. Available in easy-to-take treats, great-tasting gravy, and our pet food blends.
Since adding mushroom dog food to my dog's diet, I've noticed a huge improvement in his energy and coat health. He's like a puppy again, even at 10 years old.
After starting my care on mushroom super sauce, her immune health and digestion have noticeably improved. She's more playful, and her fur has never looked shinier.
Learn how to get free shipping and how to join our monthly mushroom call. Text Tammy with questions or to order at 720-303-8868. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com/mushroom. That's naturallyinspiredradio.com/mushroom.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com, or for the best mobile experience, download the Simple Radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio, save it to your favorites, and click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, dive into long-form podcast conversations, and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868. naturallyinspiredradio.com.
I know you know that your body is bombarded with toxins every single day. C60 is a pure, powerful carbon molecule that helps remove those toxins, supports healthy cells. Order yours today at c60.com or call 720-600-6040 Don't forget to use promo code Tammy for a very special discount. Bob's going to be on the show on Thursday. Of course, he is the innovator, the creator of Greska C60. So get yours today, c60.com, or just give Bob or Sam a call, 720-600-6040. I want you to know this week's weekly wellness workshop is tomorrow night. And you will find out if your home is truly a safe space, because we're going to be talking about VOCs and cleaning products, to hidden mold spores, microplastics in the air, and other things that may be unseen invaders in your home. So join us for a powerful weekly wellness workshop where we uncover what's really floating in your home's air. All that just for being a customer of Naturally Inspired Community. So you can go to naturallyinspiredstore.com and purchase, the collagen, or even your multivitamins, or your cleaning products, or the cellular reset, or so many different things that you're already purchasing. Except for when you make those purchases with Naturally Inspired, you support this very important message, which is changing culture in healthcare, in health in our country today. So be a part of the change. Be a part of, getting better solutions to our kids and to our grandkids, all for buying things that you already buy, likely. So go to naturallyinspiredstore.com today. So I want to talk about changing the story of health. All over social media, we see health portrayed as, tight bodies, muscle, washboard abs, all the things, the aesthetic, right? And turns out like real health is not really just about that. It's not, I said to Jason during COVID, we're going to find out. And certainly we did. Who's in business for health and wellness? And who's in the aesthetic business? And boy, did we ever. Because the people that were in the aesthetic business didn't have any problems taking the pharmaceutical products. They didn't have any problems with locking down, wearing a mask, all of that stuff. No problems there. But people that were into true and understand true health and wellness, well, they had a lot of problems with it, right? Because we know you don't inject health, especially you don't inject a new technology that wasn't necessary, because the risk outweighed the benefit by mountains. There was no point. And there was also, many of us knew, there were therapies available, which didn't make sense why the emergency use authorization was getting shoved through and all of the therapies available were getting squashed. So there were some major red flags, but that's what it did in the health and wellness field, is it really separated people, and you start to be able to see who is in it for aesthetics and who is in it for actual health and wellness. And so I really wanted to talk about this because Bobby Kennedy had commented and put out a tweet recently about this very thing, about how we've got to get back to a place where we are doing the things that need to be done to enjoy health. And it isn't necessarily injecting peptides or, doing HIIT workouts or, all the really popular things that are geared more towards your aesthetic rather than your health. That goes for mental health as well. This is the tweet from Secretary Kennedy. He said, instead of therapy and diagnosis, our schools must return to the natural sources of mental well-being. Strong families, nutrition, fitness, and hope for the future. I would like to see people talking more about these things because, you guys, that is real health. This constant urge to, silver bullet our bodies into a place where it looks healthy. Oh, maybe if I look healthy, I'm going to feel healthy. That's the same formula that the trans agenda uses. It really is. It's the same formula. It's like, I was born in the wrong body. And so if I, butcher myself, cut these off, tape this on, then I'm going to be well. I'm going to feel like I'm in the right body. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're going to have a lifetime of medication and problems. This is a way of thinking, right? This is an ideology that we can somehow change the outside of our body, and it's going to produce the feelings of wellness and happiness inside of us. And that's not the way it works. Health is cultivated at the cellular level. It's cultivated through healthy thinking patterns. It's cultivated through family support. We have a model. We actually do. We have a model that produces pretty well adjusted, not perfect, but pretty well adjusted, fun, loving, people that do pretty well. That doesn't, I'm not measuring their success by money now. I'm saying they do pretty well. They have a good time here. They do all right. It's a pretty pleasant experience. And the statistics and the results would say that they aren't the people who are butchering their bodies up and committing to a lifetime of medication. It doesn't tell us that. We really need a return to some common sense. Like I said at the top of the show, we don't need everybody living the same homogenous lifestyle. That's not what I'm saying here. What I am saying is there's like some key principles. There's some key principles to success with health, and I can nail them down for you. Okay, if you're gonna be eating garbage, like highly processed foods that carry very little nutrients in them, your cells are not going to be nourished. Your body is not going to be nourished in a way that moves away from inflammation, that moves away from disease. Nope, it's going to go towards inflammation. It's going to go towards disease. Okay, that's one thing, nutrition, right? But our society, our culture, we move to this ultra-processed type of food lifestyle where we eat out of packages, we eat through drive-thrus, we eat food we don't even know what it is. We don't know what's in a lot of the food that we eat out in restaurants. That is for certain. Sometimes we get this bombshell report that, this certain bread, this certain sub company or whatever, it turns out they were putting microplastics, in their food. Oh my goodness. So we have to have a return to cooking your own food, right? Sourcing your own food intentionally. Because, sports are cool. But somehow they have moved their way into the top priority list in families. And what that's doing isn't healthy. Statistically, how many of these kids are actually, turning their lives into professional athletic careers? Not very many. Not very many, right? So we're giving up the whole family structure. We're putting that in priority. We're giving up family meals. We're giving up community. We're giving up, a lot of things for these alterations that have become the norm in society. Well, if you don't have your kid in every single sport, then you're just not being a good parent. No? I disagree. I think if you have your kids in every sport, it's too much and you're avoiding parenting. I know that's controversial, but we're about basics here. We definitely need change. Stay tuned. This is Naturally Inspired Radio. We'll be right back.
Are achy joints holding you back? Are you tired of stiffness slowing you down? It's time to restore with Joint Restore Gummies from Prosper CBD. These delicious strawberry-flavored gummies aren't just tasty, they're designed to soothe joint discomfort, promote flexibility, and help you move freely again. No more messy creams or bitter pills. Just one gummy a day to get you back to doing what you love. Best of all, no prescription needed.
My husband was headed towards knee surgery, and I was having hip pain. A friend recommended these. We tried them, and they worked great. We noticed a difference right away.
Right now, Prosper Wellness is offering a special deal, so don't wait. Go to jointrestore1.com. That's jointrestore1.com. Grab your Joint Restore gummies today. Be sure to use the promo code TAMMY, T-A-M-M-Y, for 20% off your order.
Did you know 80% of beef consumed in the U.S. comes from 4 major corporations, much of it being imported or processed with additives? Want real beef from a real farm? Pumpkin Creek Ranch does things the right way. Local, grass-fed, dry-aged beef with no additives, no shortcuts, just honest quality.
Pumpkin Creek Ranch beef is the real deal. I love knowing exactly where my meat comes from. No additives, no nonsense, just honest quality beef.
Best beef I've ever had. You can taste the difference. Rich, tender, and packed with real flavor. Plus, supporting a local ranch makes it even better.
From pasture to plate, they raise their cattle with care, so you can get rich, natural flavor that only real ranching can provide. Stock your freezer with premium beef you can trust. Visit pumpkincreekranchco.com or call 970-658-0176.
Did you know that detoxing daily can help remove up to 70% of the toxins in your body? Let me share 3 real stories about how Greska's C60 has helped people feel their best every day. John from Denver, Colorado says,
I've always struggled with seasonal allergies, but since I started taking Greska C60 every day, my symptoms have significantly improved. I don't feel congested or tired all the time. It's been an amazing daily detox for my body, and I feel so much more energized.
Emily from Portland, Oregon says,
As an athlete, I was looking for a way to keep my body clean and detoxed. Greska C60 has been a great addition to my routine. I feel less bloated and I feel more clear-headed. Plus, it's helped me with occasional muscle stiffness and aches after intense workouts.
Visit c60.com or call 720-600-6040 today to start your own journey. Use promo code TAMMY at checkout for a special discount.
We're back. Don't forget to get your CBD at Prosper Wellness. You can go to jointrestore1.com, jointrestore1.com. Be sure to use promo code TAMMY, that's T-A-M-M-Y, to get a discount off of your favorite CBD Boswellia gummies. Again, jointrestore1.com, promo code TAMMY for all your CBD needs. I want to get into the CDC clip here. So this was a clip that I think came out last week sometime. Brigham Bueller was on Joe Rogan. Of course, this is an ex-pharmaceutical representative. He used to sell drugs to people. He did very, very well with it. And he's since become like a compounding pharmacy owner where they do a lot of work with like biohacking, and he owns a clinic and all of that stuff. Anyway, he was on Joe Rogan, and he dropped this little bomb here. I've reported on this before. Bobby Kennedy taught me this, and I can't remember if it was through a podcast or one of his books, but this is where I got that information from. Anyway, he's sharing it on Joe Rogan. It's about your CDC. Take a listen.
The CDC was created in World War II to stop the malaria spread, okay? And the first thing they did was ink a deal with a little chemical company called Monsanto, where they began to dump DDT into all of these countries to try and kill malaria. And they spread an array of health issues that lasted generations and gave immunity. and did all these things. That was the foundation of the CDC. And where it gets even crazier is, guess how, nobody talks about this shit. Do you know how where the CDC's headquarters is? Their headquarters in Atlanta was gifted to them by Coca-Cola. The CDC, to this day, is in a fucking giant building that was given to them by Coca-Cola. And in a FOIA request, there is a fucking email from one of the executives at the CDC, I don't remember, like the 70s or 80s, where they're literally going back and forth with Coca-Cola and saying they're going to do all they can to shut down this bad information on sugar. It runs so deep.
My apologies for the warning, for the F-bomb there. We'll have to do some radio edit there. I apologize for that. You never know what you're going to get on Rogan, that's for sure. Anyway, so the CDC's building was purchased for them by Coca-Cola, and that in itself, right, is a crazy thing. It is not uncommon, though. I mean, when you run down some of the setups of things like the EPA, when the EPA was started by Nixon, it was to, monitor pollution. It was supposed to be, this is what the narrative was, right? That it was supposed to monitor pollution. It was supposed to, make sure that we're being good stewards of the land and whatnot. Turns out, who ends up funding it? The oil companies, the chemical companies. They start influencing the EPA, of course. And so, things start with a pure intention. I do believe at some point in time, they came up with an idea for a pure intention. The problem is humans are persuadable, and politics are powerful, and lobbies are powerful. And what's happened is all of these agencies have become corrupt and captured. And the CDC started out that way. I mean, how can you say when Coca-Cola, and then there was a whole thing too where Coca-Cola and the CDC were working together to try to pull back the demonization of sugar. I've covered that many times before. So, that's the way it happens. So Coke gifted the headquarters. It was 15 acres. And it's just, that's why we're here. This is why we're here. These agencies, like I said, they started out with a good intention. Possibly, I'll give them that credit. Maybe. But I don't even know. This is why I try not to harp on politics and this law and that law, and we've got to reclaim, because the best way to influence our society back to a healthy place is to encourage people to shape the culture ourselves. We have to stop being reliant on these entities that do not have our own personal individual health at the top of their priority list. This is a business agenda in most cases, and if not all cases, this is a business agenda for most of these three-letter agencies. And don't forget, the people running them, I mean, geez, if they solve all the problems, well then, who works there? Who needs to work there? The whole thing is just, I don't know. So as soon as they did that, as well, there's a lot of well, let's just take polio, shall we? Right? Because this is the thing that everybody has arguments about, right? They want to know, as soon as we start talking about vaccination, which we're due to have some big announcement here in the next couple of days, and I don't know what's transpired in our country, if that's going to push it back. I don't know if that was connected to some of this stuff as a distraction. I don't know. I really don't know. But I'm telling you, there are some huge announcements coming in health. And the one thing that people always say when the topic of vaccines comes up is that, we can't ditch vaccines because of polio. And many years ago, there's a lot of different theories about polio. But as soon as the CDC was kind of created, right, they dumped a bunch of DDT out into a lot of these third world countries, right, to kill malaria. And, the timeline of polio, I just, like I always say, right now, especially after COVID, everything is up for scrutiny. And I think this is one of these things, because I think this is what people are really going to harp on, because Trump even said it himself. He thinks like the polio vaccine is just a wonderful invention. And yeah, I don't know. There's just a lot of other stories here that people should be looking into. And, one of there was reported outbreaks of polio in the 1800s in Europe and in North America. And in 1916, they report there was a bit of an epidemic that caused 6,000 deaths, and they think that was polio. But in the 40s and 50s, polio became the most feared childhood disease in America. And in 1952, the U.S. saw its worst outbreak with 57,000 cases. In 1952, it was the worst of it. The vaccine didn't come out until 55. And so the polio cases had already, 52 was the worst of it. They had already started to decline by the time Jonas Salks came out with the polio vaccine. And there's an interesting timeline if you look at it, because in 1979, polio was declared eliminated in the U.S. So I was just looking through some numbers, and 52 was the worst outbreak. The vaccine came out in 55. By 79, they had declared it eliminated in the U.S. But there was another thing going on at that time, and that was the spreading of DDT. So from 1940s, DDT was widely used during World War II to control malaria, typhus, and other insect-borne diseases. And it was later used in U.S. agriculture. And in 1962, there was Rachel Carson's Silent Spring, highlighted the dangers of DDT to wildlife and to human health. And by 1970, the newly formed EPA took authority over pesticide regulation. In 1972, EPA administrator issued the cancellation order for nearly all agricultural use of DDT. Exceptions, the ban allowed continued use in public health emergencies, but agriculture and general environmental uses were stopped. And many countries globally followed the stoppage between the 70s and 80s. And so, if you look at the timeline here, it's kind of interesting because DDT stays in soil 2 to 15 years. I guess what I'm trying to say here is that it's pretty possible that DDT was a factor in polio. And I think Dr. Rashid Bashar said exactly the same thing. In fact, I read his paper, and you should too. This is Naturally Inspired Radio. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Did you know that a single collagen supplement could support your heart health, help protect against EMF exposure, and reduce inflammation all at the same time. Our preferred foundational collagen not only supports radiant skin and joint mobility, but also promotes heart health, reduces inflammation, strengthens hair and nails, provides added protection against the effects of EMF exposure, and so much more. Our favorite collagen is super absorbable and easy to take. Just 1 tablespoon in the morning and another in the evening for maximum benefits. Here's what our listeners have to say.
This collagen is so easy to take, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair and nails after just a few weeks.
Since I started using Tammy's preferred collagen, my joints feel more flexible and my skin looks smoother.
Try it today at naturalinspiredradio.com/collagen. When you purchase from Naturally Inspired, you get access to our group health coaching call and so much more. Go to naturalinspiredradio.com/collagen. Did you know that medicinal mushrooms are excellent for pets? Take our preferred pet health products for joint health, skin health, antioxidant protection, sow health, anti-aging benefits, gut health, liver support, cholesterol regulation, blood pressure support, brain health, anxiety relief, respiratory health, endurance and strength, anti-fatigue, and much more. Available in easy-to-take treats, great tasting gravy, and our pet food blends.
Since adding mushroom dog food to my dog's diet, I've noticed a huge improvement in his energy and coat health. He's like a puppy again, even at 10 years old.
After starting my care on mushroom super sauce, her immune health and digestion have noticeably improved. She's more playful, and her fur has never looked shinier.
Learn how to get free shipping and how to join our monthly mushroom call. Text Tammy with questions or to order at 720-303-8868. Visit naturalinspiredradio.com/mushroom. That's naturalinspiredradio.com/mushroom.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturalinspiredradio.com, or for the best mobile experience, download the Simple Radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio, save it to your favorites, and click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, dive into long-form podcast conversations, and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868. NaturallyInspiredRadio.com.
I have a story here about New Hampshire ranchers. Right now, they're stuck with a 2-year waiting period for processing. That's precisely why Pumpkin Creek Ranch wants to build their own processing center or facility. And not only do they want to build it for themselves, but they want to make it available to small ranchers as well in the area. So these guys, pumpkincreekranchco.com, that's where you should be getting your beef. Use promo code Tammy. They're regenerative and they're truly community oriented. They understand the problems in small ranching and how important small ranching is to be able to feed everybody as well. How we cannot risk a centralized food system. We're living that out today, and it's not doing good for our health, that's for sure. So go to pumpkincreekranchco.com, use promo code Tammy to get yourself a good, top quality, wonderful tasting beef. I want to go straight to our health topic because it's a big one. But before we do, I just want to break down that polio type timeline for you. So the U.S. had the biggest outbreak from 40s to 50s. 1952 was the worst year of it, okay? Then it started tapering down. So that was 3 years. It wasn't until 55 when the vaccine came out, okay? And then we started to learn that DDT was poisonous. They slowly pulled it back. They said no more agriculture. But by 1972, DDT was banned. And then by 79, 2015, we had our last case of polio. But it takes a while for DDT to dissipate in our soils. Anywhere from 2 to 15 years, it can linger on in the soils depending on climate. So those are just some of the bullet points of the timeline of polio. We don't have time to go through the whole thing. I would direct you to, Dr. Bashar's paper on it, and there's many others as well. So go and do your own research. Do not take my word for it. But I'm telling you, after the years of research that I have done, and as many times as I've come across theories of polio and DDT, it's definitely a plausible theory, a very plausible theory. And like I said, everything's up for scrutiny these days. It's definitely very interesting. Anyway, let's move on because I want to get to our health topic today, which is liver health. I want to talk about some strategies for supporting your liver and why you should. So I'm doing these assessments with you guys. I'm totally enjoying them. And many of you I'm directing, hey, check out a very high protein diet, right? Low carbohydrate. If, low to no, only like fruits and vegetables in terms of carbohydrates, and of course, healthy fats and protein and hydration. I mean, just those things alone can be a total game changer. And, I think a lot of people aren't realizing the variable of liver when it comes to your health. So I wanted to talk about that today. Your liver is one of the most hardworking organs in the body because it filters toxins, right? It balances blood sugar, though. So it regulates hormones and supports your metabolism. So this covers a lot of area, right? We have people who are struggling with losing weight. We have people who are struggling with type 2 diabetes. We have people, struggling with inflammation and whatnot, hormonal stuff. It's so important to support your liver. In traditional Chinese medicine, the liver is also seen as the seat of emotional flow. So decision-making and energy movement throughout the body as well. So supporting your liver is key not only for detoxification, which I think everybody just thinks liver detox, like liver, but also for diabetes prevention and metabolic health and just your overall vitality. So number one, prioritize protein. I cannot say this enough. A high protein, low refined carb diet stabilizes your blood sugar, reduces insulin spikes, and lowers fat accumulation in the liver. This is critical for preventing a fatty liver disease, common in diabetes and metabolic syndrome. So remember, I go back to this all the time, right? Dis-ease in the body, it's congestion in the body. It's congestion. And why are we getting congestion? Exposure to toxins, emotions as well, right? And then not enough nutrient-dense food, So number two, hydrate and flush daily. So your liver processes toxins and sends waste through bile and urine. Hydration supports this flushing process. Of course, you want to make sure you're getting clean water source and you're using electrolytes. Harness the power of antioxidants. This is another strategy. Oxidative stress drives liver damage and insulin resistance. Antioxidants like polyphenols protect liver cells, improve your mitochondrial health, and support better blood sugar metabolism. That's why I often refer people to the cellular reset, because this is a fantastic way to kind of get your cellular health back on track. Support your detox pathways. The liver runs phase 1 and phase 2's detox processes. Certain nutrients, especially B vitamins, vitamin C, and amino acids are required for these enzyme systems to neutralize toxins. So methylated form of B vitamins, if you are, if you exhibit some of the signals of having the MTHFR gene mutation, things like anxiety, a prone to smoking, a prone to drinking, depression, those are all kind of, variables that you can use. If you've struggled with those things your whole life, then definitely, why not take the methylated version of your vitamins, right? It just kind of covers that. Number 5, balanced fats for liver and metabolic health. Healthy fats like omega-3s, they reduce inflammation and improve your insulin sensitivity. So they lower fat buildup in the liver. Move the body, right? You want to move the qi, like in traditional Chinese medicine. The liver governs the smooth flow of your qi, your energy, and your blood. Stagnation, what I call congestion, right? From stress, from a sedentary lifestyle, from overburden of toxins, or even emotional blockages, emotional blockages that actually create physical blockages as well. Modern science shows movement helps the liver metabolize glucose and fat more efficiently. So gentle stretching, walking after meals. I suggest to, a lot of people are very motivated. Once they get this information, they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know this. Here I am eating this diet that's like the worst for me. And I didn't know I was eating, toast and high carbohydrate diet, trying to keep things light. And then when I introduce them to the papers, to the research that shows that a high protein, high fat diet is actually, produces better results in your metabolic health, they're like, oh my gosh, they want to get going right away. They want to turn the ship around right away. Do 40 squats every time you eat, or go for a walk after you eat. That will assist your body in getting back into homeostasis. So rebounding is another thing. So those little 70s rebounders that Jane Fonda used to do her workout on or what? Those are great for getting things moving, right? Think congestion. What's better for congestion than movement? Right? You want to open the highways inside your body, and it supports both liver and your energy flow and your metabolic health. Harness liver supportive botanicals. So things like, liver DTX, it contains milk thistle, turmeric. They protect and regenerate liver cells while also improving your insulin sensitivity. So, we're so synergistic in nature. I think the allopathic model really trains us to compartmentalize our health. So they don't necessarily, people think when they think diabetes or whatever, they immediately think, oh, blood sugar. I just have to control that blood sugar. You can't really just control your blood sugar without addressing your whole metabolic health. And your metabolic health has a lot to do with your liver. So really, again, I go back to, what Bobby Kennedy said when he was talking about kind of changing the story of health, right? We have to bring it back to common sense. Good living equals good health, And it really isn't that complex. I just feel like we've gotten so far off the pathway that really what we need to do is bring it back to basics, just basics. And then if we have to tweak things from there, we can. But first, we got to get back to basics. You've been listening to Naturally Inspired Radio. I'm Tammy Cuthbert Garcia. I'm so glad you joined me today. We'll be back right here tomorrow, 3 o'clock.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com, or for the best mobile experience, download the Simple Radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio. Save it to your favorites, and click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, dive into long-form podcast conversations, and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868. naturallyinspiredradio.com.
Nearly 40% of Americans struggle with a $400 emergency expense. An extra $300 a month can be the difference between stability and financial stress.
Are you feeling the pinch of rising expenses? Imagine what an extra $300, $500, or even $1,000 a month can do for you. Introducing a simple 3-step system designed to help you create a steady income without the overwhelm. Step 1, follow our easy-to-use plan. Step 2, take small, consistent actions. Step 3, stay motivated with weekly coaching designed to keep you on track and moving forward. Whether you're saving for a family vacation, paying down debt, or just looking for breathing room, this system is for you. You don't need special skills, just the desire to make change. Join a growing community of success stories today. Visit simpleincome.info or text 720-764-7448.